Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Night Review. And I'm so happy, I'm really happy to get to another Bruce Lee movie. It is Fist of Fury. When I was a kid and went to the video store, it was The Chinese Connection. That's what I knew it as a kid. When we went into the video store and I looked at the Bruce Lee films, it was The Chinese Connection. Nowadays, it's called Fist of Fury. When I was a kid, The Big Boss was called Fist of Fury. So the titles were kind of interchangeable. And this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm really happy to get back to another Bruce Lee movie. I've been trying not to go through his movies too quick because he doesn't have a lot, but what he made was fantastic. Just classics. Any martial arts fan should watch all his movies, and I'm sure most of them have. Just fantastic movies. He was a pioneer in the martial arts, a legend, a master of martial arts, a great teacher, and probably one of the greatest street fighters of all time, and should never be underestimated by anybody. And I think he had so much wisdom when it came to martial arts, how to defend against an attack, how to attack, and his training was superb. And I have so much nostalgia for Bruce Lee and his movies, I'll tell you. I got this book here, this magazine. Actually, my wife picked it up for me. It's kind of backwards because of the mode that the camera's in, but it says Bruce Lee. Yeah, my wife saw this at her store where she worked, and she picked it up for me because she knew I would like it. She knows I love Bruce Lee. And it goes in about his life. It talks about his life in the martial arts. It talks about where he grew up, where he was born, his early years, his middle years, and all the way up until the end. His time in Seattle. And that's interesting to me because that's where I grew up. I was born in that area, so that brings back a lot of memories for me. He used to live close to where I grew up, not directly in Seattle, but I was born, I wasn't living in Seattle, but I was born right next to Seattle in a city called Renton, Washington. I don't live there anymore, but there's so much nostalgia that I have for Bruce Lee and his movies. This is a really good, this is really a good one, by the way, a good book, I guess, a magazine. It's thin, but it's really a good one. Bruce Lee, an American Hero. Like I said, it's backwards, but this is really cool. I really like that. And I used to rent his videos all the time and watch them over and over again. They were rented for me, and just if they ever came on one of the pay channels or even on TV, I'd record them and watch them over and over again. I think American Movie Classics used to have his movies on there, and I think a long time ago I had some VHS recordings from American Movie Classics when that was a channel that was on cable, and I would record them. I think it was John Little who had an excellent documentary on Bruce Lee, and that appeared on AMC. I think it was called A Warrior's Journey. It's been many years since I've seen it, but I used to record, watch his movies, exercise to him, just watch his movies. It would inspire me to box and do boxing and martial arts. And by the way, if you're interested in boxing and martial arts, I'll put one of my I have exercise videos on this channel, not very many, because originally this channel was just supposed to be about my art. I never planned on doing movie reviews or exercise videos or anything like that. It was all about my art. That's why it's called Doorway to the Paintings instead of Doorway to the Movies. It's called Doorway to the Paintings instead of Doorway to the Reviews or whatever. And that's all it was supposed to be about. I'm a casual YouTuber. I never really wanted a YouTube channel because I'm an introvert by nature, shy by nature. I usually like doing my own thing. I'm not a social media person. And if you're wondering why the comments are not enabled, I disabled them because at the beginning I had the comments available where you can comment and everything. But there was scams. There were people that were putting like this one thing and you should avoid it. The only reason I'm saying it is it's something you should avoid. If you ever see anything on your YouTube channel that says SM Zeus, be aware and don't take them up on their offer, because you can get kicked off YouTube for that. I should mention too, SM Zeus that's one of the reasons I disabled the comments, along with people were putting nude pictures of themselves on the comment section. And I held them for review, because there's a feature on YouTube and YouTube Studios where you can hold them for review. And I did that, but they were still getting in anyway. So I'd have a couple scams and then some bad pictures. If you clicked on their comment, they would show you, nude pictures and all that stuff. And the only way to get rid of them and stop them was to totally disable the comments. So I'm not a social media person anyway, so maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I don't really want to police it. It's not me. I don't like to police that kind of stuff. But they kept getting in even though I held them for review. So the only way to stop it was to disable the comments, just in case you were wondering about the comments. But this channel was originally just for my art. I didn't really want a YouTube channel, except I figured, it would be a shame if more people didn't see my art, because I really like my own style of art. I love my art, not because I'm the best painter, but just like cooking. You can have the best chef in the world, the best cook in your kitchen, but if the chef, even though they're magnificent, if they don't cook your food your way, you might like your own better. So that's kind of how it is with my art. My art is something I really like. So that's what this channel was all about at the beginning. And then I've always liked movie review channels and watching movie reviews. I grew up with Siskel and Ebert. I have so much nostalgia for them. I used to watch them all the time. So I figured, I told myself, why don't you do some movie reviews and see what happens? Because you always like that kind of thing. So I started doing it. And I'm getting more views now than I ever got before. My wife said, why don't you put your monthly boxing and martial arts exercise on your YouTube channel? I hesitated to do that for a long time until I finally recorded it. And I got more views for those than I did my art videos. But the movie reviews are higher than any of them. So if you want to watch me do my boxing and martial arts exercises, I'll put those videos at the end of this video, so you can click on the exercise playlist that I have on here. I do like an hour straight boxing and martial arts, shadow boxing at a fast pace. And if you want to see that, you can click on it. So my wife told me you should record those, and I hesitated to do it. And then I'm kind of an introvert by nature, so I put those on the channel, and they got more views than the art. But nothing really compares to these movie reviews. I'm getting more views for these movie reviews and subscriptions than I've ever gotten before. It's still a small channel, very small at this point compared to others, but I appreciate all the views and all the subscribers that I have. And I hope you enjoy this content. And back to Fist of Fury, because I think I spent too long, went down a different trail there. But I love this movie. I really like Fist of Fury. I love Game of Death too, and I was wondering if I should do Game of Death first or this one. I don't know which one I like better. Naturally, I would like this one because Bruce Lee's in it from beginning to end, but not so in Game of Death. But on the other hand, I like Game of Death so much because of the story and that iconic, has that iconic yellow and black outfit in there. And it's really, really iconic. It's become popular. It's appeared in other films. And that pagoda, going up to each level of the pagoda, meeting a different martial arts master. So because of that, you got those great scenes with Bruce Lee, with Hakeem Abdul-Jabbar, Dan Inosanto. And so that pagoda scene kind of raises it up. So it's like a draw. Which one do I like better, Game of Death or Fist of Fury? It's kind of a draw, but I love Fist of Fury. It's got that, I love the dojo, how he's fighting the other martial artists in there. Bruce Lee wants vengeance for his teacher. Somebody killed his teacher, murdered his teacher. He wants to find out what happened. Most people have seen this movie. I won't give everything away. Most people have seen it. It's Bruce Lee. It's iconic, but it's a great martial arts film. Bruce Lee is just to watch him is so inspirational, not just because of the martial arts, but his physique, his charisma, the way he projects himself. Um, Someone really famous, I forgot who it was, they said Bruce Lee was bigger than television. So it was only a matter of time before he kind of exploded. And the Green Hornet, I like watching some of they have on YouTube, you can watch some of the Green Hornet episodes. He was in a Long Street. He was in Here Comes the Brides, I believe it was called. There's so much I could just talk about Bruce Lee for so long. He was such an inspiration and still is and always will be an inspiration for me and my training. And it just, we all have our own journey, and he's really inspired me in mine. And I know he has in many of your journeys. And I can't say enough about his movies. I saw this when I was just a kid, Fist of Fury. It was called The Chinese Connection. Big Boss was called Fist of Fury at the video stores that we went to. Titles were kind of interchangeable, just like Way of the Dragon, Return of the Dragon. Same movie, different titles. But this movie was a movie that I grew up watching, along with his other films, and watched over and over and over again. I might have to do one day, maybe I'll do a Bruce Lee ranking of all his films. I think I might have to do that on the channel one day. It's been in the back of my mind. I got some other videos that I want to do first. I'm kind of going through Bruce Lee a little slower than I want to, just because I believe there's only 5 films, and I just, I want to take it slow, and I want to make sure that I don't go through them too quick, because then I'd have to go back and revisit some of them if I did that, or just, like I said, maybe do a ranking. And I have some other ideas in the back of my mind that you want to stay tuned for in the future. Fist of Fury is one of my favorite martial arts movies of all time, and I'll have to do a ranking one day. I don't know how I would rank it in terms of the other Bruce Lee films, but it's a good one. All his films in my book are martial arts classics and great films. I love the scene where he fights all the other martial artists with their gis on in the dojo. Just fantastic the way it's choreographed, and it's fun. This movie is fun, it's entertaining. A lot of martial arts movies are not realistic. This one's a bit more realistic than a lot of other martial arts movies that you could see, but not terribly realistic. But it's fun, it's entertaining, the story is good. He seeks vengeance for his teacher who was killed, wants to know what happened. He fights the big Russian at the end, and that was I believe Robert Baker, if memory serves me right. I think his name was Robert Baker, but I could be wrong about that. He fights him at the end, and I think they became really, really good friends. And I think Bruce Lee is not only a great inspiration for so many martial artists, but just fitness in general, just people who want to get in shape in general. And his physique was great for fighting, not too big, not too skinny, even though his body fat was insanely low. I mean, it was really, really low. So he was lean, very lean, but he was strong, muscular, had a great physique, which gave him so much agility, made him even a better athlete. Weight training is so good for athletics. As long as, I mean, if you're a boxer or a martial artist, you don't want to do bodybuilder type workouts where you're bulking up. You want to be as strong as possible and as lean as possible at the same time. So, but anyway, not a fitness video, but this, just the whole Bruce Lee topic gets me thinking about fitness. And same with like Steve Reeves and Chuck Norris and Van Damme and some others that I've featured on my channel, movie reviews before. But this movie is one of my favorite martial arts movies of all time. I think, Bruce Lee, his charisma makes his movies even better than they would have been, obviously, without him, even though they're well done and have good martial arts. Just his character, just his charisma makes him so much better. He was a child actor. He started out as a child actor. His father was an actor. I think it was in the blood, along with the martial arts. And just this movie is pretty iconic. I think probably Way of the Dragon or Return of the Dragon I like better. But that dojo, of course, you got the Coliseum in there. That was awesome in Return of the Dragon. And then Chuck Norris, they were in the same movie together. Oh gosh, that was awesome. Fist of Fury, I think, it's a well done movie. It's entertaining if you like martial arts, fighting movies, someone who's trying to find out what happened to their loved one or teacher and wants to make it right, seek justice. This is a movie that I think you would like. If you're into action and martial arts, you'll probably really like this movie a lot. Most people have seen it, and I highly recommend it. There's no doubt about that. No question about that. And this has been the Late Night Review. And please share this video and show other people. Tell people about the channel if you would, and like and subscribe. And until next time, everybody, have a good night.